Welcome back to the channel and another one of our auction reviews, and we're back with our friends down at Poole in Dorset, SWVA, and this is their quarterly auction and being held at the end of October. And today there's about 103 lots going through under the hammer, and a wide range of ages, all the way back to a 1926 Model T and all the way up to some early 2000s, what you call upcoming modern classics. And what we're going to do is we're going to speed up our normal format a little bit, and we've picked a particular sort of subject. We're going to go for all the no reserve cars we can find, which we think are quite interesting. And what we're going to do is give them a quick review, see what we think of them, and then see what the highest bid was when they went under the hammer. We're going to start because you're going to think no reserve, it's going to be tatty old Morris Minors and MG midgets and that kind of thing. It's really not the case. We've got some really nice cars today and some really rare ones as well. And a good example is the first lot we're going to look at is this 1990 Ford Sierra 2-litre GLS. And there's a big sticker on the windscreen which tells the main story about this one. 2,487 miles from new. One owner, bought locally from Hendy Fords down at Bournemouth, just down the coast from where we are today. And it's just been cherished. In 1997, it was put up on axle stands and stored carefully. It's obviously, it's not been sort of left in a barn or anything like that. And it's just fantastic. It's even got the recent little Hendy badge on the back. Full sort of service history with it, as you would expect of a car with such low mileage. What's not to like? And as I said, with all of these lots today, they're no reserve. So let's see how it got on when it went under the hammer.
At £20,000 there for the second car was up. £20,000 online.
Now I promise you a rarity, and this is very much a rarity. Don't skip because you think it's a Rover MG ZT. It is a Rover MG ZT, but a Rover MG ZT 260. So what does that mean? Well, it's got up front Ford 4.6 litre V8 driving the rear wheels. And there were only, I believe, about 720 of these built. I'm sure the Rover nerds will dive in the comments and correct me if I'm wrong. And it was a very niche car in its day. This one's from 2005, so I think it just scrapes in before the really high tax. It's got MOT to April next year. It is a little bit shabby around the edges. The wheels need a refurb. Some of the body fit's not great. 106,000 miles, so it's not exactly been to the moon and back. And I think as an investment, this has surely got to be good because it's a rare car when it's new and even rarer now. So, this one could be one for the future. But let's see what it was worth. And that is, as ever, up to the bidders.
At 3.5 it's online now for the second. The hammer is up. 3.5 it's online.
I do like an SLK. I had one in the past. Unfortunately, the mileage got to 160 something or other and it had to go. But this one looks nice and tidy. I only had 3 former keepers. It's a 1999 230 with the auto boxes. 9 out of 10 of these all seem to be auto. And looking at the bodywork, it's a bit unusual because for anyone who knows this era of Mercedes, they did have a little bit of a rot problem. Particularly the front wings, the arches, they all, we did seem to fall apart and go sort of lacy quite quickly. This one does look remarkably tidy. There's a little bit of paint needed here and there, but overall, 63,500 miles, it hasn't worked that hard. It's got history with it. It's been off the road since September 24 when its last MOT expired, so it is going to need a little bit of recommissioning, but these cars aren't overly complicated. I actually managed to repair the roof on one of these, and I'm a Luddite, so I think this is a great start for somebody. You got supercharged engine, folding hardtop, what's not to like even. So let's see how it got on when it went under the hammer.
£300 neutral, all the way 300 on the net, 300.
I promise you some rarities. Here's another no reserve one. 2001 Fiat Seicento Sporting Michael Schumacher edition. And this was to celebrate Michael Schumacher's 4th world title in 2001, his second with Ferrari. And again, this has got to be something going forward. You see what some of the Cinquecento's money is starting to be asked for. These are not going to be far behind, surely. This has got little styling cues, it's got a rear spoiler, alloy foot pedals, and a whole 54 brake horsepower for the 1.1 litre engine. The one downside is a few shades of yellow. The passenger door and the driver's side wing aren't quite the same as the rest of it. But hey, it's 24 years old, it's going to have some history in it, for God's sake. So yeah, I think, again, I love it. You know, great little thing. What's it going to go for? I don't know. I think these are starting to just come back up. 1,200, 1,500, maybe even 2 grand, or it could be cheaper. Don't know. Let's find out.
Are you sure? 3650 order from there.
Like most classic auctions, there are a few MGFs here today, and this is the best of the 3, I think. It's a year 2000, and it's the VVC, so it's the sort of top performance model. Night fire red paint, looks quite nice. It's got a beige half leather interior, and the important thing is it hasn't been to the moon and back. It's got 82,000 warranted miles. It's got MOT to August next year. And most importantly, the engine's had the modified head gasket, and it's recently had a cam belt and a water pump. So you should have some relatively trouble-free motoring. Yeah, I think it just looks really nice and tidy. The hood looks right. You know, there's nothing to me that I'm looking at it going, oh, not sure. But again, like most MGFs, it's to auction with no reserve. So let's see how we got on.
At £1,000 then for the second. The hammer is up. £1,000 it is online.
Now this is an even rarer car than some of the ones we've already seen. E28 BMW M5, and this is like the granddaddy of the M series really, isn't it? And this one is a rare opportunity for a restoration project. It's been with the current owner for 23 years, but been off the road for 20 of those in storage. It is going to need some work. The bodywork is a bit tatty in certain areas, and obviously going to need a mechanical sort of check over. It's had very much the sort of test, will the engine turn over? Yes, it will. Hasn't been started, but you know, these cars are big money, and apparently I understand only 180 of these in right-hand drive were bought into the UK. So this is a real rarity, and if you want one to restore, this has possibly got the headroom to put that money into it, because you know, we know good ones of these, and we know like people like Chris Harris are big fans. They're in sort of 50, 60, 70,000 pound. So you've got a bit of slack there, depending on what it goes for. 5 grand, 7, 10, I really don't know, but let's find out.
Twice. Sold 52.
Very much in the my dad had one of those categories has got to be the Rover SD1, and this 1984 2.6 Van den Pla auto is in stunning condition. As we know, these did tend to rot and fall apart fairly easily. This one's only done 67,000 warranted miles. It was off the road between 2001 and 2015, so obviously saves the ravages of a few winters there. But it looks, the zircon blue colour looks absolutely stunning, really. There's a little odd bit around the sunroof and stuff like that, but I think it's a really nice colour for this car. And yeah, I know it's not a V8 and all that kind of thing, but if you just want something to enjoy, take to a car show, you know, what could be better? I think it would be great fun, actually. And even though it's just become MOT exempt, it's actually got MOT until December this year, so it's had that little rubber stamp to say that it's still roadworthy and safe. So yeah, what's not to like? But let's see what it got.
At 5, what is online now for the second. The hammer is up. 5-1 online.
Now I know at the start I said there weren't going to be all sort of rotten and rusty cars in this no reserve lot, but unfortunately this Beetle is a bit at the, very much at the shabby end, shall we say. 1974, 1300, so probably one of the last flat windscreen models. K&N alloy wheels, are they? I can't remember them back in the period. Or KN alloys, I don't know, someone will tell me in the comments, I'm sure you will. This one, it just looks a bit sort of tired, really. I can see bits of rust appearing here and there. It's not horrendous, but it's not great. The front bumper's all a bit wonky, and you know, it's got a pair of more modern seats in it, yeah, which are more comfortable, but I don't think really suit the car. Yeah, it's very much at that project end. Maybe get the mechanicals done, get it back on the road, and you know, have a little bit of fun in it. Don't expect too much. Start a classic, cut your teeth. You know, you're not going to invest a mega amount on the mechanical side. We know these cars are cheap on the parts side. But hey, no reserve. Let's see what it got when it went under the hammer.
Thank you very much. 7, you Sean Way at 7.
Very much in that category of when did you last see one of these is this first generation Vauxhall Tiagra. Now, 1999 model, it's only what, 26 years old, and you would think, well, you know, where have they all gone? But they've all sort of disappeared, haven't they? You know, same with Ford Pumas, you know, they've all vanished off the road. This one's a survivor for good reasons. It's only had one former keeper, and it must have been very short because the current keeper has had it 26 years. And it's only showing 53,000 miles with some great history with it as well. So it's certainly one that's been loved. It's got the 1400 engine, so road tax wise you're going to be at the cheaper end, which is always a nice little add-on. I was never quite sure about the styling of these, this sort of rear end and the glass. I can see what they were trying to do, something different, but it never really grabbed me. I know there'll be some Tiagra lovers out there screaming at me, but you know, we're all entitled to an opinion. Unfortunately, MOT has just run out, so this is going to need, you know, a quick check over before you get it back on the road. But otherwise, you know, as a starter classic and something, you know, which you don't see many of nowadays, great thing to take to a local car show. So let's see how we got on when it went to auction.
I've got the barrel line for a second. Barrel line.
Now I promised you some rarities, and here's another one. And I know what you're thinking, oh, Volvo V40, what the hell's he looking at that for? Well, this isn't any ordinary Volvo V40, it's a T4. And of course, a lot of people heard of the T5 for the bigger Volvos, but this was T4. So this was their sort of almost BTCC era, you know, late 90s. It's got a 4-cylinder turbocharged 1900cc engine, knocking out 200 horsepower. So this is a proper little, you know, road burner. This one has done a little bit under its tyre, 154,000 miles, has been off the road for a little while. Last MOT expired in 2024, so it's going to need some recommissioning to put back on the road. But again, a rare car, and again, no reserve. And you know, you could have yourself something which, let's be honest, it's probably not going to get any cheaper. And as we go forward, cars like this are the ones that are going to be sought after by the next generation of classic car owners. So I don't think you can go far wrong. Let's see what it was worth.
250, 250, anybody reaching Sean at 250?
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of cars there. They were all no reserve down here at SWVA. And if you have enjoyed it, please give that like button a click. And also, if you want to see more content like this, there's a subscribe button and you can join us next time. Thanks for watching.